Hi, welcome to SFG Cards and Craft. Today I'd like to show you how I did this card and more or less why it came about. I've decided to do a mini series using mini stamps sets, and because I have quite a few lawn fawn, I thought I'll start with the lawn fawn. The two main ones that I'm using in this is actually the Year 2, which is the one with the turtle, and the Year 7, which I think is their latest year one. Which is the one with the pinata. I do later on the inside just show one of the little ants from the Happy Summer as well. Just showing that I'm actually stamping all the items that I'm going to be using. I do stamp more of the candy out shortly, and I'm doing multiples of these. I'm actually making 6 cards, but I do only show the making of the one here, just showing the stamping of the multiples here. This is actually just some scrap watercolour paper left over from when I did one of my other videos, probably the last one that I did, which was the My Favourite Things Unforgettable. And I'm just using the fun foam just to back for the stamping. It just makes a better stamp impression if you've got something softened behind. For anyone that didn't realise that's it is fairly common knowledge. I don't think everyone doesn't know it, so just use something softened behind and you will get a better impression. Okay, and that's just showing some of them that I've done there, and I do the same again on the rest of the other the rest of the 6. And this is the stencil that I've got here. This is one that I've actually die cut from a set of Impression Obsession balloons. I'm not sure what the actual die set is called, but it's one I've had it for a number of years. And this is using cracked pistachio, and then when I come into shade I actually use evergreen bough. Just putting it lightly on. The brushes that I'm using is just a cheap set of brushes where I get them from locally here. They're a Montmartre brush, and the actual price is actually 3 brushes for $5.50, so they are quite cheap. They are only a China bristle brush, and they are meant really for kids, for pasting or painting, whatever. So that's what they are, but they seem to do the job. They work quite well. They look quite good when it's done. It comes out fairly smooth, even though the brush itself is quite a stiff bristle brush. I originally bought 3 of these just to try. Well, now I've got a dozen of them just to use, because I think they work out quite well. And those 12 that I've got have cost me probably about as much as what one of the other brushes, the more expensive brushes, would cost. So I'm very happy with them. I do occasionally have bristles fall out, but that's neither here nor there really. And I'm just moving the stencil so I can actually put 2 different coloured balloons up. Now you notice that I am only putting the balloons in the top half or top 2/3 of the card, and this is using sponge sugar and picked raspberry for the second lot of balloons. And of course I changed the brush as well, have a different brush for each of the different colours. I've got different brushes for. I have actually done a card, not sure how long ago, probably a month or so ago, of the way I did this stencil. So if you wanted to see, this stencil is actually not the one that I showed being made. This is one that I had made prior to making the making of the video showing how I did the stencil. But this one's only got 2 sized balloons on it. The other one that I show has got the 3rd size as well, much larger size. But it's done basically the same way. It's just randomly placing the balloon dies and just cutting them out. But there is a video for that if you wanted to watch that. It's just one with all the balloons all over the front. And that's the 2 lots of balloons done there, and they look quite good, I think. Now you do notice that I do actually forget to put the strings on at this point, but I do put them on for the final photograph. Just coming in with the colours here. This is I'm not sure what the colours were that I used. You would have seen them at the start there, but really it doesn't matter what colours you use. But I am using 2 colours for each, in each colour family. I'm using 2 colours, one for the main basic colour and then a shading colour. So this is the picked raspberry, sorry, the sponge sugar going on now, and then I shade that one picked raspberry. The purple that I've got there is shaded lilac, and it's shaded with wilted violet. The green is cracked pistachio, and it's shaded with evergreen bell. And the orange is dried marigold shaded with carved pumpkin. And those are the four colours that I use. I do bring in some blue as well, a salty ocean, I think, just for the candies. The turtle is just done with evergreen bell, and I take the evergreen bough and mix it with a couple of different other colours just to get different shades of green on the turtle. So there is actually 3 shades of green, but it all starts with evergreen bough, and then I just mix in other colours. I couldn't even tell you what colours I mixed with it. It was just, I didn't want to be bothered getting more greens out, so I just mixed up my own. I think I put orange with one lot, and I'm not sure what I put with the other one, probably the pink perhaps with the other one, to mix up different colours. So look, I'll leave you with the colouring, and I'll be back soon. I'll just put some music on. Thank you. Hi, I'm back again. This is just putting the hole on. I've actually just put the that line there is just in the middle, pretty much so that the hole becomes pretty much straight into the middle of the card. I measured it out and just put it on there. And it's just cutting the die cutting of the all the characters here. I noticed that the box was just a little bit too close to the pinata, so I decided to do that on the second round. Because I've got so many candies, I have to go through 5 or 6 times to do the candy, so it didn't matter anyway. And I had a little bit of trouble with that hat. It's such a small little thing, and that finally got it. So I don't bore you with everything, just showing you this. In actual fact, I do notice that when I do cut out this first lot, the pinata is actually a little bit off centre there. I could have probably pushed him down a little bit, the die, because his legs are actually fairly close to the line, but it doesn't matter, you know. So anyway, what I'm showing here is I've die cut some craft cardstock, and on the back of the turtle shape I've actually just glued on a half a toothpick, and on the pinata shape I've actually glued on a brad, and I've actually now glued the coloured painted ones down, just using the glue that I used, which is Glossy Accents. I left that overnight as well. That was sort of, I didn't have to leave it that long, but because I did them late the night before, I actually just left them overnight. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing there at the moment. Doing something. Oh, okay. Getting some pearls, but I realised that these pearls are not the ones that I wanted to get. These ones are actually on a string. They're sort of joined together with like a hot melt type glue type thing, I guess it is, on the back of them. And that's not what I wanted. I wanted the pearls that are actually single pearls. They've still got the backing with the glue on them, but they're single pearls. Now the reason I'm putting these pearls on the back, it helps to balance helps to balance the pinata for the spinning. If I didn't put these on, it would be a bit wobbly, so I've put those on to help the balance of the spinning. And also, you notice I did put a couple extra ones on the foot side, on there where their legs are, to try and balance it, but because when I actually put the brad in, I didn't figure out exactly where the centre of gravity would be, so it doesn't sort of sit there perfectly in the centre. When you hold the card up, it just sort of hangs sideways, but it is a spinning card, so I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm not quite sure where the centre of gravity would be, or how you can actually go about picking where the centre of gravity would be. It's probably a little bit closer to I've got it sort of sitting on its shoulder. The centre of gravity would probably be more closer to its back than on its shoulder, but it would still have to be fairly high up on the actual pinata. And here I'm just putting in some 1.6mm foam tape. That's the dimensional foam tape, of course, and just making sure that it doesn't get quite so close to the brad that it's going to stop it from spinning. And there it is, it's sitting there spinning nicely. And the little turtle, I do put some dimensional tape on the back of the turtle too, but I actually use just the squares on that one. Okay, now I'm just putting on the sentiment. This is just the one that came with the pinata stamp set, and it says "Hope your birthday is a smash." So that's almost the card panel finished. Oh, and it's because I'm sticking all the little candies on, sticking them all around. You'll notice that I actually, after putting this one down, the next one I pick up, I actually move it because I think, oh, too many green ones close together there. I wanted to try and keep them separate, so I pick up a different one and put it there, a yellow one. So I'm just gluing all them down. And it's showing it spinning there. Now, this is the next day after I've done all the recordings. I decided that I will come in and actually redo the string. The string was just done in a very thin black line, so I decided to put a sparkle line on it. And you'll notice I have also put now the strings on the balloons. And this is the inside of the card. I've got that little ant that comes from a set called Happy Summer. It's also another Lawn Fawn stamp set. And there's the final finished card. So if you like this, please subscribe and click that like button, and I will be back before too long with more. Thank you. Bye bye.